Hello, welcome to another toneless landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. And this might look familiar, this painting, because we did it about, I guess, 4 or 5 months ago. Maybe not, no, actually it's ago, during El Lockdown, at least the lockdown here in New Zealand. And here's the thing. I liked it, but there were things I wanted to change about it, and it was a study after good old Dupree. Although I did the study after Dupree in just sepia tones, but you're going to see some of the things I want to do. Like one of the main things is that little gap at the side. I didn't like it. I wanted to close it, and there was a lot of other little things I want to do. So go ahead and watch and see what I did. And while you are doing that, I'm going to address a pretty good question I got on the one of my recent videos, which coincidentally was another sepia study. And this question was posed by Jigger, and I won't read the whole question, but basically he was asking, how it is for me as an artist. It's been working a long time. If I see myself and my work as evolving and getting better, and what my take was on that, and how I thought about that. And I have to say that the first thing, I have a lot of things to say about this, and they're going to be sort of random, but I think if you just stick with me through the whole diatribe, by the time we get to the end, we'll probably be able to circle back around and answer Jigger's question. Now, as far as evolution goes, I feel that all of us are evolving as an artist if we're working on a regular basis. If you're not working, you can't evolve. I don't care how much you think about painting. It's almost impossible to really make progress if you're not painting. And I believe one of the things that I answered on that post, I couldn't type much, and one of the reasons for that is I had like 15 years as a professional illustrator slash graphics guy, and I get this repetitive stress stuff. So if I type too much, it starts to bring me down. So I'm very strategic about the time I spend on the computer, especially the keyboard. The typing seems to be one of the more intense things that aggravates me. Anyway, that said, I answered about George Ness. Now, George Ness was a guy that painted for a good solid over 50 years, and his work was at a pretty high level all the way through. However, it became extremely transcendent. I think he died in 1893 or so. His work from the late 1880s to the time of his passing is his most transcendent work, and I'm sure he would have agreed. It's sublime, and the thing is, like, that's the sort of progression you want to hope for. You know, that as you're getting ready to slide into the grave there, that what you're leaving behind is your very best work, and that the people that followed your work and cared about it can see the progression of ever increasing sublime imagery and excellence. You know, one of the things I have to say about that, though, is you can't really force that evolution. As great a buzz as it is to get better, all you really can, and I'm speaking for myself in the way that I operate. I couldn't imagine anyone being able to force it, but maybe someone can. I can't speak for everyone. I'll just be speaking for myself. So keep that in mind with everything I have to say here. You have to, the best thing to do is to have set up a way of working and a schedule of working that is supporting yourself as an artist and supporting your endeavors in painting. Show up every day that you can and do the work, and you will get better. In my case, a lot of times, it might seem that I'm just holding my ground. You basically just dog paddling there in the water, but there's progress being made in the background, and I don't set out when I do each painting to say, oh well, this is going to be the best. I set out to say, I hope I can pull this off. I am going to try and do this. One of the things I challenge myself with is like lately is like by working larger and still getting a free and easy feeling in the work. That's a big challenge for me, and the only way that I'll ever accomplish that is by doing it. You know, I can think about it and strategize and plan until the cows come home, but at the end of the day, without actually doing it and failing a bit, and or you know, succeeding but maybe not succeeding on the sort of grand scale that I'm hoping to. It'll be incremental, and that's the other thing is as you progressed along your journey as a painter, the you know the early progress you'll make huge strides from painting to painting. Sometimes it'll be almost like day and night, and as you have epiphanies and discover things and colors that work for you or compositions that are strong for you. Or in a lot of, in my case, a lot of the learning is negative. Like I did something and I really figured out that it doesn't work. And so next time I might come across something like that in some reference or something, I say, nah, I ain't gonna do that because it doesn't work. Or there might be some niggling thing in the back of my mind. It's like, well, I could make it work. Maybe I can make it work. And every now and again, you can make something work that you couldn't make work before. And that's because of enhanced insight and experience. You know, that's really the only way. There's three components actually that occur, I believe, as you are painting. There is yourself and your consciousness. There is the universe, and then there is the physicality of laying down the paint on the surface. It's like a triune thing going on, and all three need to be firing on all three cylinders to be producing excellent work. There are times, though, that like that universal component, you could even call it maybe the subconscious or whatever. I'm not going to get into any deep dives on you know spiritual type issues here. It doesn't really matter how you define it because everyone defines that thing differently. But hopefully you know what I'm talking about. There's something that's sort of an element that's outside of yourself and your domain that could give you promptings and give you ideas. And if you listen to these things, to the degree that you listen and pay attention, your work will become more excellent. On the other hand, that does make you more reliant on, let's call it inspiration, right? Um, but inspiration needs to be a component. There needs to be things happening that are in the background that are moving you and changing things, and ideas that are flying around. And how do you get that inspiration is maybe a topic for another video, but if you've been with me any time at all, you know the short answer is just work. Get don't wait for inspiration. Get to work, and inspiration a lot of times will show up as you're working. And it's important. Like I did one of my better paintings recently on a day when I didn't feel like painting, wasn't going to paint. But I said, heck with it. You know, if I'm a painter, I need to get some painting done. And so I did, and it was a really good painting, and it turned out much better than I had hoped it would. Um, as far as that progression, you know, it's one thing that's sort of sad and bitter is like when you see something you've done in the past and you find that you're struggling to hit that height again. That can happen. I think that happens a lot more to people that don't work very frequently. Because if you're working frequently, what'll probably transpire is you can't, you know, walk that same path again. But you could maybe execute that same scene again in a way that was just as good or better, but it'll be different. I got a sniffle, sorry. It'll be different because you're different, and that's one of the, you know, remarkable things about life. We're changing, we're different every day. There's the one constant, which is our consciousness, the I am that is inhabiting the you know, the existence. That's a constant, and that's the thing that doesn't seem to really change, but it is actually changed by the experiences that it goes through, right? So, yeah, I think just speaking for myself this last year, I think I've made some really big steps, really big. I'm really happy. I've had periods of time, say from 2014 to maybe 2017, where I felt like I was just treading water. That's the expression I was looking for earlier when I said dog paddling. You're dog paddling to tread water. You're just treading water. You're not moving. But I was making progress. It just wasn't. There wasn't as many awesome paintings as I would have liked to have seen. Sorry for that second sniffle. What can I say? You know, we're live. We're live. Um, and the most important thing is like if you, what I've discovered is if you're just doing a lot of work all the time, you don't get so hung up on things. You know that's the real gift of working all the time. Is you just have, you know, you may have had a high point with one painting and then a low point with the next painting and then a middle point with a painting after that. But if you just keep going, things really tend to even out. And I'm much more into that than the extreme highs or the extreme lows. I'd much rather have an overall level of consistency and excellence. You know, I'm into doing excellent work. I'm not into doing anything mediocre. Um, Now, the other thing that I do to kind of support that is, I mean, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you see I tend to do lots of different things, but I tend to do them in a very similar way. Like I'm always working on some sort of wood panel because that's the kind of substrate I like. Sometimes they're textured, sometimes they're smooth. Doesn't really matter. It's going to be some sort of rigid support. Um, I always start with an underpainting. A drawing is what I like to call it a lot of times because I like to figure things out before I start getting in there with piles of color. I almost always will pre-mix a series of colors to help me get my head around the scene with no real pressure, right? Not that I feel a ton of pressure as I'm painting, I just paint, you know, I do my best. And sometimes I am painting and I go, wow, this is going really well, or I know this is going to be really good. And actually, a lot of you, if you follow the live, you'll hear me saying, "Oh, this is good. I like this. This is good. It's going good." You're getting the live interaction there. You maybe you know, and I don't know if I share that many live that didn't go that well, but I did recently share one. It wasn't live, but you know, it was an okay painting, but I knew it wasn't going to be great. But I tried, and I thought, well, you know, I'll share this just so people can see me struggle, you know, because there ain't nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with struggling. There's nothing wrong with failing. Basically, we all need to be engaged in some sort of positive activity. I chose painting and music. The music for me is a hobby, though. Painting is, you know, I was and have been a professional artist for a good chunk of my life. So I sell my work and I make a living, and that's what constitutes being a professional. With the music, I don't sell much music, you know. That said, there's links down below. You can go check it out. Maybe you'll be into it. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. I'll be back real soon with another video, and Jigger, I hope that answered your question at least somewhat. And until I come back with another video, please do me a favor. Take good care and stay out of trouble.